they work these tunnels by night, Ron, when the canal's at its height?
Oh yes, the boats have got lights on and they can go through the tunnels okay at night.
Candles, I suppose.
Oil lamps mostly.
So really it was fairly busy. You had to be a little bit careful navigating through there, I would have thought.
Oh yes. They do have a tow path there for the horses to go along as well.
Somewhere up above us is the village of Cookley. The world's going on turning up there above our heads and nobody seems to notice us down here on the canal. You don't expect to find scenery like this as you head towards the centre of industrial England, do you? Just look at it. You could be 1,000,000 miles away from civilization. You wouldn't believe that this is the very edge of the Black Country. I wonder if the navvies who dug this canal ever had time to sit back and enjoy the scenery. Ron, it gives you some idea of the task of building these canals, to think that they had to batter their way through this sandstone rock and no mechanical diggers.
That's true. It goes all the way down the canal, this, right the way through Kidderminster to Stourport.
15 miles of it.
This little bit is quite a geological feature.
Incredible, really, when you think about it. If you lived to be about 30 in those days, Ron, you were considered an old man.
And if you grew up more than 5'3" as well.
Well, let's have little chaps so they
tall.
wouldn't knock their heads on those canal bridges and through those tunnels we've been trying out. This is incredible. Where are we?
House Cliff Rock, they call this.
Hanging rock. You can see why, can't you?
That's right.
This is the easy way to go boating. These are hotel boats. They usually have a crew of 4, including a cook, and the cabins, there are usually about 10 of them, are luxurious. You can cruise the whole waterways network on these boats, and you don't even have to open a lock. It's all done for you. Well, I suppose it's one way of travelling on the canals. I'm leaving Ron to do the work this time. Eileen was right, you know. You do meet some interesting people in the locks. People like Ken Cowell. Where have you come from?
I come from Blackpool.
Blackpool?
Yeah.
And you leave the sunny beach there just for the canals of the Midlands?
Well, it was sunny here when we got here. We got here over 2 weeks ago, on a 4 weeks holiday.
Have you come all the way down by boat from Blackpool?
No, we got the boat transported to the River Avon. We came down on car.
Oh, I see. You haven't gone all that far then. You cheated a bit.
Mind you, we've gone all the way around from the River Avon. We've gone up the River Avon, up the River Severn, and onto this canal here.
Fancy taking your boat with you by road. You'd have thought he'd have hired one when he got here, wouldn't you?
Starting to rain.
Stourton Castle near Stourbridge. Once it was attacked by Cromwell's men. Now it's known around the world for a very different reason. I'm on my bike to see Fred Phillips. Fred, a former publican, lives in the converted stables. He's a world authority on Staffordshire Bull Terriers, and he's got his own very special museum. Hello, Fred. You've changed all this since I saw you last.
Yes, it's took me 10 years to put these frames and pictures of the old timers together.
Joe Mallon. Fred's known all the great owners of Staffordshire Bull Terriers. This is Joe Mallon, who owned fighting dogs in the 20s and first gave the breed its respectability. And Tom Walls, the film and stage actor of the 30s, who did more than anyone to popularise the breed. But despite all this, Staffords still haven't lived down their reputation. Of course, we should remember that dog fighting was an old black country custom, wasn't it?
Well, no, I think this is where a lot of people get things wrong. There wasn't so much as people think. It was exaggerated. I don't think, and I'm speaking now from 60 years' experience, there was a great deal of fighting. And today, there is no fighting. Let me say this to you. I have been all over the world where Staffords are kept. And I've seen very few Staffords with any marks. Now, you know a professional boxer shows his marks. Well, a professional fighting dog shows its marks. And there is very few. And think of the days, Tony, when this black country man, they said, used to fight his dogs. He used to work 7 days a week. And a lot of them couldn't afford to keep the kids. And in my early days as a boy, as you know, I'm above 70, and in my early days as a boy, I only knew a handful of people that kept dogs.
How many Staffords have you got here now?
I've got 6 here at the present time. And a champion dog, and I have to, now, at my age, I have to put the dogs out. I've got a lot of dogs, but people keep them for me. As you know this with Staffords, they're not an unruly dog, but you can't trust them to run together. Instinctively, they fight.
Bred for fighting, as I said earlier.
Yes, but not the type of fighting that they're talking about now. Shall I tell you what they said that the dog was really meant for and what they were used for? Because they're a typical working man's dog. And they always said that the Stafford was used by the poachers and the bad boys in the early days